Hey everyone, this is Mr. Brown once again. In this video we're talking about factoring trinomials into pairs, or the way I like to call it, trips, trinomials into pairs. So this is the case. We can do this when a equals 1 in a quadratic equation. So if we have the generic quadratic equation, ax squared plus bx plus c, this works when a equals 1. So if a is not equal to 1, then we cannot do this method. So always be careful about that. Alright, so let's look at a couple of examples. So, if I have x squared plus 8x plus 7. The way we do this is we need to find two numbers. So step 1, put this in a different color. We need to find two numbers that multiply to C and add to B. What I mean by that is we need to find two numbers that will add up to the last term, the constant, that will multiply to the last term, the constant, and will add to the coefficient of x, which is the middle term. So we need to list the factors of 7. So the only option we have is 7 and 1. That's the only option. So 7 times 1 is 7. Does it add to 8? 7 plus 1? Yes, it does. So then we just write our factors as x plus 7, x plus 1. And we are done. So another one. This time we're not going to use x, but it really doesn't matter because it's just a variable, so we can use whatever letter we want. So, just like we did before, we need to find two numbers that add up to c and that multiply to c and add up to the coefficient of the middle term. So, we list our factors of 10. We have 10 and 1. We have 5 and 2. So, which is the one that could add up to 11? Well, here's the thing. We have to add up to negative 11 here. So, and we have to multiply to a positive 10. So, the only way for us to be able to multiply to positive 10 is if both of these numbers, 10 and 1, are positive, or if both of them are negative. In this case, we have to use the situation where they are both negative, because negative 10 times negative 1 is 10 positive, but we need to add to negative 11, and negative 10 plus negative 1 is negative 11. So, what we have is we have negative 10 and negative 1. We're just going to write our factors as n minus 10 and minus 1. And it doesn't matter what the variable is. Alright, the next one. Okay. Let's do n squared minus 10n. Actually, you won't do n this time. Let's do b. B squared minus 10b plus 9. Alright, same deal. Two numbers that multiply to 9 and add to negative 10. Well, the only factors of 9, we have 9 and 1, and 3 and 3. Well, it has to be the 9 and 1, and the 9 is positive, so we have to, the 9 that we're multiplying to is positive, so they either have to both be positive or both be negative, and we have to add to negative 10. So, you guessed it, they are both negative, because negative 9 plus negative 1 is negative 10. So, when we write our factors, we have b, we have negative 9 and negative 1. So it's b minus 9, b minus 1. So hopefully this is not too bad. We'll do one more. N squared minus n minus 56. Actually, I'm going to take out n. We'll do x this time. It really doesn't matter. Alright, so two numbers that multiply to 56, to negative 56, and that add to negative 1. Well, since we have 56, this 56 being negative here, the signs of the two numbers that we're going to multiply together need to be opposite. Because the only way for us to get something that's negative when we multiply is if one is positive and one is negative. Because two positives multiplied get a positive, two negatives multiplied still get a positive. So they have to be one of each. So, just by looking at it, the factors of 56, so we have 8 times 7. That's the first one that I think of. I'm sure everyone does as well. And actually that one happens to work. So, which one's going to be negative? The 8, because negative 8 times 7 is negative 56. And negative 8 plus 7 is negative 1. So we just write our factors, x minus 8, x plus 7. And that's really all it is.